People have been living miserable lives underground for thousands of years, forever fearful of shaking and collapses. In one such village, Simon finds a drill key and a small robot, Lagann, with which he will escape to the surface and begin his fight for a happy future. Will he manage to overpower his enemies and not lose the love of life? Now you will find out. In the underground village of Ziha, under constant threat of earthquakes, live Simon and Kamina. After a daring attempt to escape to the surface, they witness a huge gunman breaching the dome of the village. The gunman has come from the surface, followed by his stalker, a girl from the neighboring village, Yoko. With the help of a drill key and a mini gunman dubbed Lagann by Kamina, the trio defeat the invading gunman and escape to the surface. Simon and Kamina and Lagann find themselves in Yoko's home village, Riton. The heroes find themselves they are drawn into a war waged by surface-dwelling humans and mysterious beast men. After the last battle, Simon, Kamina and Yoko set out to replenish supplies. However, they encounter an unusually strong gunman and his pilot Viral. To defeat him, the heroes merge their gunmen to form a new gunmen, Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann sets out to destroy the base of the beast men. Along the way, they encounter the eccentric Black Brotherhood and the problems of lack of food. On the way, Gurren Lagann finds himself in a strange village where gunmen are revered as faces of God. As they leave the village, they take with them Elder Roshiu's assistant and two orphans, Gimi and Dari. With the new companions, taken after visiting the village, Gurren Lagann arrives at the place where the base of the beast men should be. However, the heroes find nothing resembling a base. To the aid of gunmen and Kit and his pilot Viral comes in the form of the mobile fortress Megaganzen and its commander, Timaruf, one of the generals of the Great for the mysterious Spiral King. Despite disagreements with the rest of the Gurren Lagann, Kamina is raring to go into battle. After a temporary victory, Gurren Lagann's lineup is expanded with new allies, after which the team name changes to Mega Gurren Lagann. Kamina decides to capture the Beastman battleship, the Megaganzen, with the help of Lagann. However, all is not well at heart for Simon. During a lengthy battle, Megaganzen is captured, but the price of victory is Kamina's death. Gurren Lagann now has the mobile fortress of Megagurren at his disposal, but Kamina's death undermines Simon's spirit. In battles he tries with fury to dull his pain. After a battle in which Lagann suddenly stops listening to him, Simon finds himself in a strange ravine. He sees some gunmen throwing a box off a cliff. Opening it with the same key that started Lagann, he discovers a girl in it. She introduces herself as Nia. Their conversation, however, is interrupted by the gunmen. Nia temporarily banishes another of the Spiral King's great four generals, Adini. Kitten makes an unsuccessful attempt to interrogate Nia. Nia learns of Kamina's importance to Simon and the depth of his heartbreak. She tries to help him, but only arouses resentment from Yoko. Adini, however, returns to finish the job. She says that the Spiral King has disowned Nia. Gurren Lagann falls into the trap of the Great Four's general, Guam. The crew tries unsuccessfully to escape the imprisonment. Nia discovers why she was disowned by the Spiral King. Simon is the only one of the Mega Gurren Lagann who has not given up trying to break out of the confinement. He begins to understand the meaning of Kamina's last words in his last battle. And Lagann returns to Simon. On Mega Gurren's way to Tepelin, the capital of the Beast Men, there is an ocean that has to be crossed. While Lyran modifies the fortress to move across the water, the rest of Mega Gurren Lagann rests on the beach. Yoko has a growing dislike for Ni, as she has pulled all of the men's attention away from her. After all the preparations, the crew finally sets sail. But Adina and Viral are ambushed at sea. Trying to do her part, Nia becomes a cook. Before Mega Gurren Lagann can even touch her food, Mega Gurren is attacked in his flying battleship by General Cytomandra of the Great Four. Simone and Yoko, who has replaced Rosiu, who has fallen ill for some unknown reason, Rosiu, on the Gurren Lagann go on the counterattack. Trying to do her part, Nia becomes a cook. Mega Gurren Lagann doesn't even have time to touch her food before Mega Gurren is attacked in his flying battleship by General Cytomandra of the Great Four. Simon and Yoko, who has replaced Rosiu, who has fallen ill for some unknown reason, go on the Gurren Lagann to counterattack. Mega Gurren Lagann reach the outskirts of Tepelin. To continue their journey, the team must crush the combined forces of the Spiral King generals of Guam and Cytomandra. After the fall of the last general, Tepelin began to crumble. However, he only showed his true form, a giant ganmen. Simon and Nia try with all their might to make their way directly to the Spiral King. For the next 7 years, the new society grows and flourishes under the leadership of a new government, the people who stood at the origins of Gurren Lagann. But the peaceful life comes to an end when Lorjanam's ominous prophecy begins to be fulfilled. After the first attack by the anti-spiralists, Nia declares war on their behalf. Simon unsuccessfully tries to track down Nia. Meanwhile, Rosyu is finishing his secret project. In order to pacify the rioting crowd, Rosyu resorts to extreme measures. Simon is deprived of his office and sent to trial. Just as the verdict of death is being pronounced, the anti-spiralists attack and destroy Riton, and then march off in the direction of Kaminograd. Simon asks to be given a Gurren Lagann to fight them. Rosyu agrees only if the Gurren Lagann is booby-trapped so that Simon cannot escape or resort to a heroic death. Simon, awaiting execution of his sentence, is transferred to prison, where he encounters Viral. Kitten learns the terrible truth of a plan devised by Rosyu to save humanity from the system of its destruction. Gurren Lagann and Arch-Gurren form a new ganmen, Arch-Gurren Lagann, and take the human eradication system under their control. Rosyu believes that his efforts were hopeless and tries to commit suicide, but Simon manages to stop him. On the new supergalactic Megagurren, which is a space battleship, the Gurren Lagann sets out for a decisive battle against the anti-spiralists. Simon, guided by his feelings for Nia, who has been taken by the anti-spiralists, tries to move the battleship to their headquarters. As a result of the anti-spiral attack, many members of the Gurren Lagann are killed. Gurren Lagann struggles to escape the trap that has become a grave for a multitude of spiral creatures. They get out of it, but at the cost of self-sacrifice Kitana. After the final conversion of their flagship to the supergalactic Gurren Lagann, Simon and his friends successfully fight against the enemy. However, when their enemy begins use their own memories and desires against them, Kamina helps them out of the abyss. Simon and Nia are together again. The power of Gurren Lagann gives birth to a ganmen the size of a galaxy, the Gurren Lagann Sky Crusher. The anti-spiral decides to fight, and now the fate of the universe depends on the outcome of this battle. In the epilogue, 20 years have passed since the team's victory over the anti-spirals. Many of the Daigurren teams have since finally retired, new generations of pilots to prevent the spiral nemesis and secure the universe. Other races throughout the galaxy have been created, contacting Earth after liberation from the anti-spirals, joining forces with President Rosyu of Kamen City, and for 20 years, the established Galactic Spiral Peace Conference. Yoko, now as Miss Yamako, became principal of the small school where she worked as a teacher during her 7-year absence from the team. One of her students, Nakim, became a galactic representative in the Grapple Squadron. Gimme and Derry used Simon's column drilling to become Gurren Lagann's new pilots. Viral became Captain Daigurren of the Super Galaxy and Emissary of Earth. Nia's memorial and her engagement ring were placed next to Kamina's grave. Simon, still living as Simon the Earthling, watches over them as the Gurren Lagann squadron flies over their heads across the night sky to join their fellow spiraling stars.